In this video, we're going to look at the laws of indices. Now, there's three we're interested in. The first one comes up when we are multiplying indices with the same base. And what I mean by base is the number that's then being taken the power to. So in this case, the base would be 5. Now, these laws only work when they are the same base. So if you had something like 2 to the power of 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of 6, these laws don't work because the bases 2 and 3 are not the same. So let's look at this example. 5 to the power of 3 multiplied by 5 to the power of 2. Now we can write this out. We can write this out longhand. So 5 to the power of 3 is 5 times 5 times 5. I'm just going to put that in brackets to show it represents that first term. And then we're going to multiply it by 5 squared, so 5 times 5. Now the brackets are just there to show you which term they kind of represent. We don't need them. So we can shorten this. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, well, we're multiplying 5 by itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So 5 to the power of 5. So this is where we come up with the first law. So one way I remember it is by saying we keep the base the same, and you add the powers. Did you see here when we're multiplying two things of the same base, we are adding the powers 3 and 2. 3 plus 2 gives you that 5. Now a similar thing happens when we are dividing numbers with the same base. So 5 to the 4 divided by 5 to the 1. So let's write this out longhand. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 divided by 5. Now we can cancel these. If you've got a times by 5 and divide by 5, they can cancel out. This is going to give us 5 to the power of 3. Where do we get that 3 from? Similarly to the first case, we're going to be looking at these powers. But when it's division, we're going to subtract them. The way of remembering it is we keep the base the same. And we subtract the powers. So we keep the base the same, so the base was 5, and we subtract the powers. So multiplication, you get add, division, you get subtract. Now the final case is where we're going to have this power of 5 is 5 squared, but with a cubed on the outside. So let's write this out by longhand. We've got 5 squared multiplied by 5 squared multiplied by 5 squared. That 5 squared is being multiplied by itself 3 times. But each of these 5 squareds we can write out longhand as well. So 5 times 5, 5 times 5, 5 times 5. Well, we got 5 multiplied by itself how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 to the power of 6. So where does this 6 come from? Well, multiplication we added, division we subtracted, and now when we've got a power of a power sort of case, we are going to multiply. That 6 comes from 2 times 3. So there really isn't a very clever way of saying this. I just say, this is the one, the one where you multiply powers, or the indices. So now we've got our three laws, we can look at an example. Example. 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 3, but we're squaring all of it. So we've got multiple things going on here. So let's follow BIDMAS. The first thing we need to do in BIDMAS is the brackets. We've got brackets here, so we have to do everything inside the brackets first. So 3 to the power of 4 divided by 3 to the power of 3, they are both the same base, and it's a division, so we're going to subtract the powers. Well, 4 minus 3 is going to give you 1. Now that we've done that, we can deal with the index, the power of this bracket as a whole. So 3 to the power 1, all squared. And this was our third law. This is the one where you multiply the powers. 2 times 1 is 2. So 3 squared, 3 times 3 is going to give us 9.